Hey everybody, this is Caitlin here, and welcome to another Force of Will deck profile for you today. Today we are looking at a deck profile which kind of similar to the one we did last time. Last time we edited the Fiethsing starter deck to try to work around or whatever some of the limiting things that the deck had. So this time we are actually going to be editing the Lunya / Nyarlathotep, because I finally figured out how to properly say her name now. We're editing her deck now, so I've made a couple of changes, not too many major ones. I've kept most of the core deck, just in this current iteration right now. I'm probably going to keep it this way until I can run a couple more tests on this deck to see how it does against mirror matches and some other decks, whatever. So as of right now, this has only had a couple of tests, so it's not, I don't know whether it's near perfect, whether it's amazing or whatever. I've just, going off of like the couple of games it's played so far, it's done fairly well, it's performed fairly well, it's managed to get a decent amount of wins, a couple of losses or whatever, but I'm going to be tweaking it, or like trying to work around, see where the weakness underlying is, and then we can hopefully like solidly say, yeah, this is a combination. But right now, this is what I'm running with, so leave a comment below, guys, if you like this build, or whether you would change some things. I know a couple of things that maybe some people would definitely change straight away, but going into here, we have Lunya, who for, well, I don't actually have the red kind of card protector or whatever. That's the only reason why she's in the blue one. I only have the blue one right now. I think I've got a gold one, but I'm using that for 0, so sadly Lunya is going to have to chill in the blue one. But her judgment is 4, which is 2 red and 2 void. I know a lot of people before were saying, oh, when they first saw Lunya, they were like, oh, she's just like a not so good version of Sylvia, because it's like the same, they're about the same judgment cost or whatever, and when like she does her flipping thing or whatever, she only deals, what is it? If I can look at the card, whatever, she deals 600, or is that 800? That's 800. I can't even see through the camera lens, or that's shining light in the sky, which is actually my ceiling light, but whatever. Some were saying that she's not like as an impressive version of Sylvia, but you have to keep in mind, yes, they're both fire rulers. Yes, they have kind of similar gimmicks for their like interbellies, whatever, but they're two different characters, obviously, and they're two different cards with two different styles of decks. Obviously, Lunya / Nyarlathotep focuses on the limit counters or whatever, putting things back to the hand and blah blah blah. So of course they're going to be different. So on her ruler side, if the camera would like to focus, she has Energize, which again is something that Sylvia sadly doesn't have. I'm going to keep comparing her to Sylvia this deck profile, and I apologise for it immensely. She also has this ability where whenever a Resonator you control attacks, this card deals 100 damage to a target Resonator, which, this isn't saying too much, whatever, but, still quite a handy thing. It has 1200 attack and 800 defense. Comes with swiftness and limit 2. It is limit 2, isn't it? Yes, it's limit 2. So basically, every time it blocks or it attacks, we have to remove a limit counter before it bounces back to becoming a ruler. When this card enters, it deals 800 damage to a target Resonator, and at the end of turn, if there are no limit counters on it, we just explained that, it goes back into the ruler. So yeah, and also people were mentioning how, also I've cut my finger, by the way. I'm very sorry about, well, I'm sorry about showing you it, but I cut my finger at work, so that's why I've got a plaster. So people were saying that she's like a not so great version of Sylvia, because obviously Sylvia can also target J-rulers with her entering and dealing 1000 damage or whatever ability, but obviously you need to keep in mind, Nyarlathotep is different from Sylvia, so they're not going to be carbon copies of each other, otherwise what's the point in even printing her? So that's basically the rundown of Nyarlathotep, and now we're going to go into the deck itself. I've kept most of the same things or whatever with the starter deck. I've taken a couple of things out, added a couple of things, and this is kind of the build I'm going with. We've got 4 of the gentle goats, which are 300, and it gains plus 200 as long as we control a Cthulhu J / Resonator, so basically the majority of this deck. And you got a lovely little gentle goat. Next up, I'm running 4 of the, what's it called again? The tiny Reconnaissance Drake, which is a 200, and what this one does is that we can pay 1 less to play Resonators with total cost 5 or more, which are mainly going to be going into with our Niggurraths or whatever, because they cost 5, and, I don't know whether this means, like, say we had 2 of these out, would we then be able to play, like, 2 void less or whatever? I'm not too sure. I need to double check that ability or whatever, but I don't know if they stack or whatever, so, like, say if you had 2 of these out, you could pay 2 void less for Niggurrath or whatever. I need to double check that. I also want to play this because I'm thinking of including in my side deck either, what's the name of it again? I can't, is it the Ox King or something like that? It's one of the big, like, massive fire drops, whatever. I was thinking of maybe keeping it in my side deck, maybe having it as, like, a 2, and maybe removing, like, say, 2 of something else or whatever, to just have in the side deck, because Niggurrath is, like, the like, aside for one other thing, Niggurrath is, like, the beefiest thing in this deck. So I was contemplating that, and obviously that way we could also reduce the cost of that or whatever. But I'm thinking about maybe having it in the side deck. It's, like, as a possibility. Next up, we have 4 of the Flame Dragon of Altea, which is the other beefy one that I was talking about. This is obviously the one where you pay 1 more to play this card for each card in your hand. The ideal scenario is that we Flame King Shout it into the field. So basically we Flame King Shout, deal 400 to everything. We can drop in the Flame Dragon or whatever because it only costs 2. And we have a 12/12 flying in the field. Like, we could get it, if we have like a really good hand draw, we can get it in as early as turn 3, which is totally amazing and wonderful. And why would you not run this with Flame King Shout in any kind of fire deck? Like, literally. Like, if you're not doing that, like, what is even life? Next up, we have, what is your name again? Fayli the Charlatan. I keep wanting to call her Charlotte, because, like, she's called the Charlatan. I keep wanting to call her Charlotte the Charlatan, but obviously Charlotte is another character. I wanted to keep her combo in, that she works really well with her own spell or whatever. She has a 3-cost, and she has a vanilla or whatever, an 800, but she works so well with her like her spell chant or whatever that like goes hand in hand with her, that I felt like I really wanted to include her and the spell or whatever. So I kept those from the starter deck. So I kept running 4 of those. And next up, we've got my boy, my favourite, my Hastur, who everyone at my locals or whatever totally adores Hastur, and pretty much everyone is in love with Lunya and Nyarlathotep. Basically, there's so many different decks. Well, there's a lot of decks that are like Lunya decks, and they run similar things. There are like slight differences here and there. Like, mainly, I think it's to do, the slight difference is with the other Resonators or the other spells, whatever they're running, but everyone agrees Hastur, the main boy, is amazing. He's a 3-cost, 900. He has a limit of 2, and he gains swiftness as long as our J-ruler is Lunya, obviously. Whenever he attacks or blocks, he deals 400 damage to a target J/Resonator, and obviously at the end of the turn, if he has no limit counters, we need to put him back into our hand. So he is pretty amazing, and obviously he comes with swiftness, so he is awesome. We like that swiftness action. And next up, we're running 4 of Niggurrath, who's the 12/12 shepherd, lovely girl. She's so cute, and I'm dropping cards. Oh my god. And my dog is barking in the kitchen because he knows it's bedtime now for him, so he's not allowed to be out or whatever, so he's barking in the kitchen. Niggurrath has a limit of 1. When she enters the field or whenever she attacks, we can search our deck for a card named Gentle Goat and put it into our field, then shuffle the deck. We can banish one of those goats and put 2 limit counters on this card in doing so. And at the end of turn, if there are no limit counters, she obviously comes back to our hand. So basically, what we can do is we can get rid of the lovely little goats, and we can give her more limit counters so that she can stay on the field for longer, so we don't have to worry about playing her constantly from hand. So those are like the main Resonators that I've got for the deck. As I was saying, I'm thinking about possibly side decking the Ox King, or potentially the Fiery Chariot Red Boy. I mainly want to like do the Ox King one because the Red Boy one I think is that's the one, as far as I remember, I may be getting this wrong, Red Boy is the one where you deal damage or something like that, depending on the different colours of will, and obviously this is a mono-red deck. I should have said that at the start, by the way. It's a mono-red deck, so I feel like the Ox King one would be a better one. Obviously, the idea with this deck is probably like about swiftness and burning and all that stuff, so we want to be hitting hard and fast, so we probably maybe even wouldn't get to the point where we'd have enough will to summon him, but at the same time, it's like, it's a possibility, because, you know, the biggest thing in this deck is the dragon and obviously Niggurrath, and if we lose them, then we're kind of screwed a little bit. But next up, we're going into our spells, and first off is obviously Flame King Shout. It's pretty much a staple in like every fire deck. It's like such a good card. It's like too good not to use, and like I defy anyone who's running a red deck and not using this, because it is totally amazing, and you can cheat in so many good 3-drops Resonators or whatever with this. Obviously, you know what this does by now. It deals 400 to everything, and you drop in a fire Resonator which 3 cost or less, and it gains swiftness this turn. So you're giving that big beefy Altean dragon swiftness, which is awesome. And then next up, we're running 4 of the Charlatan's Trick, which is what this is called? Yes, Charlatan's Tricks, which is a 1-drop. And what it does is, you can search your deck for a card named as the target Resonator or addition you control, reveal it and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. If you control Fayli the Charlatan, you may put it into your field instead. So can you imagine having like, say if you already had like a Niggurrath on the field, can you imagine also having Fayli on the field, playing this, searching out another Niggurrath, and, you know, putting it into the field because you already have one. Like, it is amazing. And obviously because you have Fayli or whatever, that would be amazing. Or say another Altean dragon. Like, that would be like, you know, OTK, like maybe 1 turn card, whatever, since they're both since the dragon is flying. It would be insane. Next up we have Introspective Jutsu, which I couldn't read at the at the beginning of like the sentence that I was starting, but I had to like get like a quick peer at it to make sure I knew what it was because these are all shiny and or whatever, and I couldn't read. It's a 3-cost quick cast, which may seem a little bit too expensive for a quick cast card, but if we look at its effect, if the card would like to like remain in focus, a target Resonator gains plus 1000 attack until end of turn. So basically, we are pumping up anything that we know we can definitely land a hit with. So fingers crossed we have those 3 well left open, but since, you know, it is like quite a hefty cost whatever, but a lot of these things can be cheated in for cheaper or whatever, so I think we will reliably have like the extra well lying about, funnily enough. Next up we have 2 of, if I can remember the name of it, Ancient Heartfelt Fire, which obviously since we're not running Mars, we're not using mana counters or whatever, it's a 1-cost quick cast. We choose one which is deals 400 damage to target J/Resonator or put 3 mana counters on your J Ruler. We're mainly going to be using it for the 400 damage. I was considering maybe replacing this with Demonflame. I am still considering it. I might side deck Demonflame as well as the Ox King or whatever. Normally I don't really like think too hard about like side deck and stuff, but actually like since like say like Lost was announced and since obviously Curse of the Frozen Casket, I'm thinking more about my side deck more. Like I'm thinking more about what do I want to bring with me just in case so that, you know, I can like, you know, make a quick change or whatever, like after like I can like scope out my opponent and see what they're like. So we're only running 2 of that mainly, but I think I might side deck the Demonflame just in case. And on top of that, we are running 4, count them, 4 of Lightning Strike, aka our new Thunder, which is a 1-cost, and obviously it deals 500 damage to a target J/Resonator, or 500 damage to our opponent. So, you know, if we spent all these damaging our opponent, we'd at least get 2k damage off of them. You know, swing for dragon, endgame. And last but not least, I actually am including some Regalia in this deck. I know, like, big shocker. Why are you including Regalia? Main reason why I am including Regalia. I have 2 Dimensional Vessel Apollo, and the main reason why I'm running these is because, 1, we can give Nyarlathotep flying, which is awesome. And they have the ability where if we rest one and banish the card, we can return a target Resonator we control to our hand. So on the off chance that we fear we're going to lose something that we totally adore or whatever, I would mainly think maybe potentially maybe the dragon or perhaps even Niggurrath. Like normally if we're going to be losing it to limit counters, it would be going to our hand, but on the off chance that we don't want something to die that badly, we can obviously banish or whatever and bring it back to our hand. And last but not least, I'm actually going to be running 4 bows in this deck, which I know is a shocker. A lot of people say bows aren't really that good a thing outside of Arla anymore. I remember back, way back in like the 7 Kings, whatever, where basically everyone was running bows with every single deck. It didn't matter what deck it was just like the go-to great thing or whatever to do. It was like, you gotta run bows. Bows are great, which is amazing. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to give some bows some love. I mean, it is also a good cannon fodder or whatever to swap out or whatever with my side deck. So potentially, if I ever want to make any changes, I could just take out the bows because they are not essential, but they're kind of nifty and handy, but they're also easily replaced or whatever. They can swap out for Demonflame and stuff like that. And obviously, if you've been playing this game, you know what the bow does or whatever. You remove a counter and does all this stuff. Obviously, they're only entering with, is it 1 or 2? They're only entering with 2 counters or whatever because we're not running Arla, obviously. But, you know, they're there in spirit, cheering us on. And in terms of our Magic Stone deck, we're just running 4 Firestone, not 4. I can't even talk. Running all Firestones, which is 10 of them, basically. And they're yellow or whatever, because I'm getting kind of hyped up for light red Lunya or whatever, light fire Lunya. So they're in red, the yellow sleeves now, because I'm channeling the Lunya oncoming. But yeah, guys, this is my deck profile for the lovely Nyarlathotep who's chilling out over there. I really want to try and I was thinking about, oh, it's been so long since I've had a custom playmat, and I almost like want to get like a custom playmat of like Nyarlathotep and Sylvia because I think they would be so cool together, and maybe also like I'm not sure about maybe Little Dread because technically like Little Dread and Nyarlathotep are the same character, whatever. Maybe I need to think of like another fire ruler, not Mars because I don't like Mars. But I would love to get like a playmat done, like a custom one of like Nyarlathotep and Sylvia because they're my girls and I love them. They're my fiery girls. So I hope you enjoyed this little deck profile video today, guys. Let me know in the comments below if there is a ruler that you would like me to do a deck profile for. Obviously, I'm going to be doing deck profiles of the rulers that I want to run or whatever when I'm in Legacy Lost when that drops, but that won't be till December. So if there's any other rulers, even older ones or whatever, I am open to also Wanderer deck requests. I was also thinking about different Wanderer type decks I can make. So those are also an option, guys. So let me know in the comments below if you want to hear any of those ideas, and I'll see you guys next time.